going on? Jack Sauce Eric here, and of course, day 16, man. Day 16 of the 2023 Bitter Pops Advent Calendar is here. Nice rainy day here in Chicago, man. It's been a busy one. I've been on the move all day, but then so has the rain. It's just been nonstop, so it's nice to finally be inside, sitting in my chair, mediocre football on TV. Even though I'm not sold on this Saturday football thing. Keep it on Sunday. It's just my thing. Sunday and Monday was good. Thursday, we don't need. Saturday, we definitely just give it up, NFL. Just keep it on Sundays and Mondays. Just go back, please. Just when it's not broke, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. I had to get that off my system because it's been a day, but it's been one of happiness and sadness, and we can get into that, I guess, in just a little bit. But the happiness, man, the happiness is this morning I got to see my dear friends at Southernish. They had picked up some beautiful brisket from Slagle Farms, lamb belly from Slagle Farms for a gig I have on New Year's Eve. Yeah, New Year's Eve. I'm working. Welcome to the life. But I have some great ideas that we're doing. Someone hired me to do a beautiful barbecue crossbreed Indian and Asian influences. And I'm really, really excited to see the flavors of Jack Sauce, how they work with Indian spices as well as Asian flavors. I'm having a lot of fun with this menu. The brisket, we're doing these beautiful curried brisket samosas. The lamb belly, I'm turning into lamb bacon, and we're going to be turning that into kind of a sausage for a lemongrass kebab. Korean barbecue sauce will be first time we make it. If I like this sauce that I'm kind of coming up with, it's going to be the newest Jack Sauce. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that was great. It's always great to see the people from Southernish. And Joe, Lindsay, you know I love you guys to death. And it's always great to get great product that inspires you to do great work. At any time, an idea for a new Jack Sauce. Something serious just happened outside of my house. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. You know we do this in one take, but when there's a loud bang right outside your house and you live in Chicago and you don't know what's going on, you kind of got to cut camera for a second and check it out. Somebody hit a parked car. That's all it was. I feel bad for the person with the parked car. That person drove off. The guy that hit it definitely took off. And the car across the street, I don't know whose car it is, but it's pretty banged up. Hopefully somebody sees that soon. I don't know whose it is. Otherwise, I'd go let my neighbor know. Whew, but man, that scared the ever-living crap out of me. We talked about the menu. We talked about it being a day. It's raining. Let's have a beer. We'll get to the rest of it later. We're going to have a beer. All right. Day 16, man. Holy cow, that scared me. I hate that. Literally sounded like it was on my front door. So joy of living in the city, man, with the streets right there. You never know. You never know. Whew. All right, day 16. Let's get into this. Go get it, Jax. Rainy day, Chicago. What do we got going? Well, what do you know? Another Munich, Dunkel. We just did this with the Fair State Co-op. This is actually really appropriate today. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But it's very appropriate that it's a German-style beer. Munich Dunkel. We talked in depth about what a Munich Dunkel is. We can do a quick recap on that. Black Horizon Brewing Company. I've heard of these guys. I've never had anything from Black Horizon before. But I have heard of them mainly because they are a serious player in the Chicagoland area barrel-aged beer scene, which we have some killer barrel-aged beers. One of these days for the beer review, I am going to do everything from, we're going to do some stuff on barrel-aged, and I've never done it before, but, you know, everything from the Goose Island, Bourbon Counties that everybody hears about. My personal favorite, the Krampus from Old Irving. We'll get a hold of a little Black Horizon. There's so many others. I just tried one from Hopewell, I believe it was, which was absolutely fantastic. Their first go into it. Phase 3, I can just keep going on and on and on. So many guys, so many brewers do so many great barrel-aged projects here. This, however, is not barrel-aged. This is a Munich Dunkel. We just talked about this. A little flustered still from the car. So we do know this was the first codified style, so to speak, during the Bavarian purity law of 1516 when they announced that the Whittlebacks announced that barley, water, and hops were the only things being allowed to be made in beer. This was the style at the time. Everything was a little bit darker then because it was being roasted open fire. The kilning method or the kilning roasters hadn't come out yet, which actually did dramatically change Dunkels and help you control it. But they were at the time doing things that really helped this darker style beer stay a little bit more fruit forward, or not fruit forward, sweetness, malty sweetness forward, toasty from that Maillard reaction, and not so bitter and not so smoky and whatnot. Munich malts being used, of course, which roast at a much higher temperature so they can take open flame a lot better, giving that beautiful dark color, but also the Maillard reaction, which gives it that toasty kind of savory umami quality, if you will. They were using the decoction method. We talked about that, where it's taking some of the wort out, boiling it separately. Not only did this open up those malts even more, giving more of a malty sweetness to the beer, but when you add that in, it helped control temperature, and controlling temperature in your boil, of course, helps you bring those flavors and control what's the finished product is going to be, as opposed to kind of rolling the dice and seeing what happens. And then finally, of course, a good Dunkel is finished with one of the noble hops. The noble hops we've talked about in the past, but just a recap, we have the Saz, the Tettnanger, the Spalten, the Helletower. Spaz, of course, is Spaz. I said Spaz. I'm such a Chicago kid. But Spaz, which is, of course, the hop that Joseph Grohl used in the original Pilsner Urquell, or the original Pilsner in general. And then Helletower, which pretty much every Munich Dunkel at least has a little bit of, because that is, in my opinion, the king of the noble hops. Noble hops bring aromatics. They do bring a bitterness to it, but they're not overpowering. They're not meant to be necessarily a flavoring, like a hardcore flavoring hops. They're just really perfect. Dunkels are just well-made beers. Let's take a look. Talked about these before. Malty sweetness up front. You're going to get all those beautiful toasted qualities. Chicory sometimes, because they are still, even though you get the malty sweetness, it dries out nicely, and then you'll get the nice bitter finish. You'll have caramel notes, toasted caramel, burnt marshmallow, chocolate notes, bittersweet chocolate. Let's take a look. So thinking about the Fair State was a little bit, no, they're very similar. This, I think it might be a little bit darker, if you will. Maybe a little bit darker. Beautiful kind of brick tones to it. It's a little red, a little darker, a little bit thicker. Like it's not as see-through. It's a little bit more, what's the right word? Opaque. It's a little bit fuller bodied, just on the nose, or on sight. On the nose, there's a ton of barley, ton of malt. Jack, if you want to come up, just come up, man. But you can't have the beer. We just talked about this yesterday. Tons of roasted grain on this, man. It smells like walking into a brewery. All the good notes of walking into a brewery. That first whiff you get when you smell all the roasted grain. I love that. I love that smell so much, and that's right in this beer. Caramel notes, hints of, oh, the malt is there, but this is definitely not as malt forward, or at least on the nose, as the Fair Play was. Fair Play, Fair State, man. Holy crap, that's good. This is perfect, man. Malty sweetness, but it's a little more subtle. There's almost a sweet tea. I know that sounds stupid, but southern sweet tea kind of note right at the beginning, but it doesn't carry on. The sugary sweetness doesn't come through because the malt rounds it out really nicely into a really toasty grain. The Maillard reaction is so present in this, that umami, that roasted, toasted goodness, man. Hints of bright citrus at the end from the hop. That definitely Helletower in this. Probably something else, but it's definitely Helletower. Man, it's just a really well-made beer. Black Horizon, this is phenomenal. And now you're down in Willowbrook. A lot of really good golf courses out there. When it gets nice out, I do love to go golfing with my buddies. I have to check you out. This is really appropriate. I'm going to finish with it. I didn't know if I want to talk about it on the beer review, but I'm going to. It's appropriate that this is a German-style beer because this morning, we lost my grandfather. Little German man. Phenomenal man. We knew it was coming. It's been a while. It was time. And we love him to death. I love the rest of my family. My grandpa was a godly man. He taught us, the family, all about God and Jesus, and it's something that we all hold very dear to us. He was a fun man. He was just a little guy that loved to sing. He would sing at the top of his lungs. no matter where he was, no matter how big of a crowd we were in. It didn't matter. Grandpa would sing if he wanted to. He was a stern man. He'd let you know if you got out of line. Suddenly his little 5'5" frame became 6'5", and you knew. But man, that guy loved. He loved so hard. He loved God. He loved his family. He loved his wife. And now he's with his wife in heaven, and he's waiting for the rest of us. Not yet, Grandpa, but we'll see again. Man, in true German form, Prost. Prost Opa.